Welcome to the Nintendo Rewind. Oh, great. I'm Cody Christian. I'm joined by Josh Taylor, whose camera is doing something. I don't know what's happening here. Let me refresh this.
I swear it worked a minute ago.
Let me refresh this cache of the current page. What is going on, Josh? Did you do something? It's always you with the tech issue. Hang on, let me try this.
Freaking IT desk.
Let me try this. Is that working now? Is it working? There we go.
There we are.
Anyway, welcome to the Nintendo Rewind. I'm Cody Christian. I'm joined by my host, my co-host, Josh Taylor, hosting the premier podcast covering all the latest news, reviews, and announcements from Nintendo. We're rewinding and recapping last week. But before we dive in, Josh, how's it going, man? How is it going?
It is not going bad now that I am here.
That is good to hear. What was your week like besides bad, apparently? Like, what did you do?
Let's see. To not count the bad, all I have to do is skip over the work. No. I mean, like, that the side job's cool and everything. No, we what did we do? Because I constantly stay busy. I'll go at a game angle with this. So I pulled out. I don't remember if I started this before last week or not. I pulled out my Game and Watch, the little Zelda one, and I started Zelda 2 because it is one of the only mainline Zelda games I haven't beat. There's like 20 of them. I haven't beat it, and I haven't beat. Oh shoot, what's that one called on 3DS? It's like the 3-player one. I almost said Triple Deluxe, whatever that one was called. That I just completely blanked on. I
was like, do I have that bad boy nearby? I do.
I can't let myself do rewind states or save states. Let's just do this thing right.
You can, but you shouldn't.
Yeah. Well, I've made it through like the first 5 palaces now. I'm doing well. Like for the most part, I hear the last one is like horrible. We'll see how that goes once we get there. But I've been playing that. The Switch has been a little slow, as you'll see some with the news and things like that. There hasn't been a ton of big things at least coming out. So I've been replaying Sonic Adventure, one of my all-time favorites, on my Xbox this time, just because it's the easiest way to get a hold of it right now.
Right.
So that's kind of the gaming landscape. I will say, this is kind of giving away part of the news. I played a few matches of Splatfest, and I am now with Splatoon 3. The teams I picked, my record is now 1-14. I finally got a win. Finally picked the winning team.
Dude, congratulations, man. Actually, you know what? Let's just jump straight to that before I dive into my thing. Hang on. And so he did give away just a little bit of the news there. But I mean, big man, Bear Club's Cloud of Victory. What the heck? I didn't think it was possible.
Bears.
485p inked, like just through the victory march there. I don't know, did you see like the breakdown of popular versus like wins versus all the other stuff that they did, or did you just see the actual results?
So fast.
Dude, it goes so quickly. I was just happy to
see me get a win.
I didn't even get the chance to play any.
For Kana, the main character in my book, and Banjo, of course. So.
You see Walmart Canada here tweeting out, "We never stopped Bear leaving." Walmart Canada. With the Banjo.
They're like the best. If you're on X or Twitter or whatever, they're like the best person to follow.
Dude, absolutely, man. That's freaking awesome. Canada. I'm so glad that things worked out for you. I did not this weekend. This whole week has just been insanity. Mrs. Nerd and I mean, last week I talked a little bit about it on stream, but like Mrs. Nerd and I had so many pictures to take of like Little League sports that are going on right now. And there just wasn't any time to like play Splatfest or even boot up a video game, period. I think I may have played, actually I take that back. I played like an hour and a half of a game called Pacific Drive for the PlayStation 5 because one of my viewers, Shiny Bird, she had asked if it was any good, and I really wanted to play it because it looked like Supernatural, like you're driving a station wagon from the 90s, like cruising the Pacific coast and trying to like avoid crazy things happening. It's not that. Like that game is not that. It's like more of a straight up survival horror game where you spend more time out of the car than in it. So like I gave it like first impressions like a 6 out of 10 maybe, like because everything's such a chore to play in that game, and it's not Nintendo. Yeah. It's not Nintendo, but it is one of those things where like I wanted to try it. So if you want to try it, it's on PlayStation, it's on Steam. I think if I'd known what I was getting myself into, I think I would have enjoyed it a whole heck of a lot more. But like, that is pretty much like the only game that I had time to play. And then I played 20 minutes of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Enough to fight.
I wish I could play that. That looks pretty cool.
It's very good. It's very, very good. But I was so tired, and Mrs. Nerd was like, "Hey, do you want to go to bed?" And I was like, "Yeah, let's go to bed." So like, I ended up shutting it off 20 minutes into another session. And I was like, I'm gonna go to bed. But we spent the entire week last week like screaming at kids to go, "All right, 3, 2, 1, smile!" And like that was it. Like that was my voice was tired. I didn't even get to stream. Most of the time when I'm doing my gaming is on stream. So it's been like, I don't know. And then now we're back to regular stuff again this week. So yesterday I streamed Dragon Spirit, and that was fun. I pulled out the old NES Advantage and hooked it up to my analog pocket with an adapter that I bought because I wanted to have the turbo, and I still lost. I still have not beaten that game. It's so hard, dude. Like, it is so hard.
I've never played it, so I can't speak up for that one.
It's like a shmup. And I don't even remember who put this one out. I feel like it might have been like Capcom or Konami or something like that. I could be completely wrong. Maybe Koei Tecmo, who knows? But like, it's a shmup, and if you die on the first level, you get Gold Dragon, but it's like the easy mode that you run through. And then like after that, if you beat the first level, you get to continue going on and doing even more like harder of a route by playing Blue Dragon. I have not beaten the Blue Dragon route yet, so I'm still trying to beat that game on stream. It's just been misery business. But Mrs. Nerdwire's bringing up in the live chat there, we did go see some monster trucks on Sunday. I took my kiddos to go watch monster trucks nearby, and we ended up riding a monster truck. So they had one you could pay to ride on it. Kids loved it. They had a jet engine they brought out and melted a car with that they strapped to a burn unit like fire department truck. It was crazy, but it was good. Like, it was good. It was just busy. Like, this whole week has been just like insanely busy, and I'm tired, and I'm gonna make it through, but I'm trying to like be as upbeat as possible and bring the chaos that is Cody to everybody's eyeballs and earballs. So, you know, we're gonna make it work. But I don't know. That's pretty much it for me this week. We do have a couple of things that we could jump into if you are ready, and that is the MyNintendo digital and physical rewards news. So take it away, Josh. There you go. Now you're up. You're up, sir.
All right, so there is no big new smart device or sweepstakes, but there actually is some physical rewards. And me and Cody were talking about this before. I can't fully remember if this was up here before, if this is a restock, or if this is all new. But there is an Animal Crossing New Leaf bandana here, as you can see. Looks pretty cool. I don't know what I would do with it, but it is pretty cool. I still appreciate Animal Crossing. I just played it again today, actually, with my daughter. Which gives me a good reason to go back to it. And the other thing is also Animal Crossing New Horizons related, and this one I actually ordered. It is the Roost 3-pack coasters. They come in a little tin, so that's pretty cool. And those are, I'm sorry, the bandana is 500 platinum points, and these coasters are 800 platinum points. So there's a little something for you if you still are into Animal Crossing. There is no new NSO icons. We double checked on there. It's actually just like the Mario ones that you can go back and get to play, and the Yoshi's Island ones are still there, and those ones are really cool. There's only 5 or 6 of them, but I definitely recommend grabbing those before they're gone. And there actually is a new game demo, and I got to try this out. There's 2 levels on it. I didn't play all the way through the second one. I can't remember why, to be honest, but I played most of the way through it, and it is pretty cool. I don't know how much I'm going to say here because we actually can bring this up later. But it is for how do I say it here? Anton Blast. That's right. I'll go ahead and say some of it here. So yeah, I thought the demo was really cool. It plays a lot like Wario Land. I mean, it's very, very much Wario Land or Wario Land 4, gameplay wise at least. So, you know, you're making it to the end. As far as I can tell, there's like a countdown You're bashing through stuff and grabbing treasures and things like that. If you've played those games, it's a lot like that. It's a little more chaotic though. In some ways, I think that's cool. In some ways, maybe it comes across a little sloppy, maybe, just to maybe put a negative spin on it for a second.
Get that. I get that.
Granted, it's very early. They even say that in the demo. What was it there? November the 13th or something like that. So it's still got some months ahead of it. Maybe they'll be able to. Maybe it'll feel a little better once that's ironed out. It's still pretty cool. It's still pretty good. I would definitely recommend trying that out, especially if you are hungry for a Wario Land game, since it has been way, way, way too long since we've gotten one of those.
Like
pretty cool.
The more I watch of this trailer, the more like related I feel like it is to something like Pizza Tower than Wario Land. Like originally when I saw the trailer for this, I thought this was like some sort of Pizza Tower like sequel thing that they're bringing to the Switch.
You gotta play it.
And Pizza Tower, I mean, dude, like that game, I felt like I was on an acid trip the entire time I was playing through that thing. Like it is chaotic. It's all over the place. The controls are really, really smooth though. Like I really do like the controls a lot. But it is one of those games that like, I will say it is, you either play it to completion in one sitting or it's too much and you got to put it down and take a break from it for a real quick second, because like it is, there's a lot happening on the screen at all the same time. But like, where I think those Wario Land and Pizza Tower in particular differ is that like Pizza Tower, it doesn't quite have the amassment of riches that Wario Land does. And I mean, that's Wario's whole shtick anyway, just in general, is find treasures, find coins, you know, eat the garlic, and win, wahaha. But like this game in particular, like it just feels a little bit more heavily related to Pizza Tower. Maybe it's because of that 1990s cartoon like aesthetic that they've got going on here. But there's a demo for it. Go check it out. Like Josh was mentioning, he's checked it out. It's interesting. It is. I don't know. I need to sit down and play it. I haven't had the chance to play it. You played through the first level, you said?
Played through the first one. It's sort of like the easy, not super easy, I guess, but it's sort of the regular, easier game mode or whatever. Then the second one is a little more difficult, so I can perhaps be a little more interesting if that's what you're looking for. So yeah, I'm going to keep up with this one. I'm going to keep an eye on it at least.
I got you, my dude. Well, that kind of wraps up the MyNintendo news. Like, it's so short. There's like nothing there at all for us to really talk about. I mean, go get some Animal Crossing stuff, play a demo.
If you look through the Wii U years, you're kind of used to this. It's just a weird time. The Switch has been super successful, and this is most obviously kind of the last hurrah for it. So it is what it is. No big deal.
We've got like a month. I think yesterday, or not yesterday, my apologies. Last Thursday is like a month until we see the release of Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door. So we've got like a month until we get some actual good news and some like new NSO icons that people might actually care about. But as it stands right now, things are a little bit on the downside. And we already even jumped into the events, and there was only the one thing, and it was a recap of last week's Splatfest. So that being said, that's going to bring us into our main topic. So we'll catch you right after this jump. All right, so if you guys clicked the Go Live notification, you know what we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about the Indie World Showcase that happened on the 17th last week. It was the day after last week's show, and unfortunately, we weren't able to be live for that because life was busy. It was chaos. It was too crazy. But we are going to be talking about the Indie World Showcase and breaking that down. And then we're also going to be talking about some NSO games that just dropped, apparently, from Super Nintendo, dropping that in the live chat. I tried to check the everything, the Nintendo Everything website, and I did not see anything. Oh my gosh. 39 minutes ago. Okay, we'll come back to that. We'll be talking about that at the end of the show. So, but we're going to jump into the Indie World Showcase for now. And we're going to be starting off kind of, in some ways, a little bit strong. If you're a cat lover and you love the cats, now's the time, because you're going to be jumping into Little Kitty Big City on the Nintendo Switch. That is for next week. This is Nintendo Rewind, not Nintendo Now. It says Super Nintendo in the live chat. Thank you. But Little Kitty Big City, that game looked interesting from the standpoint that like you get to be a little kitty in a big city and create and cause mischief. I'm gonna pull up a trailer here to play in the background while we're talking about it. Now, I think it looks really, really cute. You play as a black cat. You get hats in here. There's a lot of mischief to be had in this game. But here's the thing. I think this game strikes me a lot like a mix between Untitled Goose Game and oh my gosh, Goat Simulator. That was the other game I was trying to think of, because it's got this open world experience and it doesn't seem so linear like Untitled Goose Game was. Because UGG, as we'll abbreviate for it, UGG was definitely, you solve some puzzles that you need to do, knock off some stuff off of a checklist, and then you get to move on to the next segment of the city or of the village that you're in as a goose. And Untitled, my gosh, Goat Simulator, you kind of have free reign and you've got achievements that you can unlock as you go. And so where I kind of feel like this has both of those aspects in them, like I feel like it has that open worldness and that clicking off an achievement kind of situation that Goat Simulator did, but from the perspective of Untitled Goose Game with the aesthetic. And that's what sells me on this game, is the aesthetic. Josh, what kind of feelings do you have about Little Kitty Big City? Is this going to be one that you're going to be picking up at all, or is this a pass for you?
I've played around with both of those. I've actually completely beat Untitled Goose Game. Even Lily, my daughter's played around on it some. I really like that one. It's simple. It's not real long or anything, but I like it. And Goose Game was just fun to go on and goof around and do stupid stuff in. I don't know if I've barely ever, the little bit I've got to play it, like did the missions and stuff in it. I don't feel like it really made those abundantly obvious.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'll definitely, I'll see how this one turns out. Maybe keep an eye on the reviews and things like that. And I can definitely see it being a fun time if it's anything like those.
Right.
Even if it's just something sort of goofy, or you just run around and do whatever. I'm all right with that.
I'm with you. Now, the good news is you don't have a long wait for that one. That one's out on the 9th of May. So if you do want to end up picking that one up, 9th of May is when you will make your way home or explore what the big city has to offer first. Getting home is your main priority, obviously. Well, it's one of your priorities. It maybe is more of a guideline. It's definitely on your to-do list somewhere, but first you must explore the big city. So
you don't have rules.
Right. But you can go check that one out. The next game that they talked about, and which, by the way, my opinion on it, I don't think I'll be grabbing this one. I don't have time for it in the schedule that I have, because I've got, even in this indie direct, and along with Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door releasing later on in May, like I have so many things that I want to do on stream and check out. But we'll get to some more of those that I definitely will be picking up. But the next game on the list doesn't have an official release date, but it is set for 2024. You play as a young hacker, Emi Kimura, as she starts to uncover the dark secrets of the mysterious corporation Kotek in this brand new side-scrolling Metroidvania from acclaimed developers WayForward, which is absolutely a name that you should recognize. It's from Shantae, the Half Genie Hero, and a whole bunch of other games that you should definitely go check out, but as well as Atari. And they take the Yar's universe from Atari to a whole new level and unlock something hiding deep inside of you, releasing later this year. Let me throw that trailer on in the background. This game has a very interesting aesthetic, but it's not... My initial thoughts on it is that it looks like a cheap, slow, clunky Metroid Dread. And you know what I mean when I say something that looks a little bit cheap, because everything's just a little too glossy. The movement just feels like it's stiff. I like the character art and what they did here, but it almost, and I don't want to talk bad about Ninjala rest in peace, Ninjala. But like, it just has that Ninjala kind of like look where everything's too glossy and too shiny, and it doesn't have like the gameplay loop that I'm necessarily looking for. I have never played any of the Yars games previously. Super Nintendo in the live chat says, seems like Way Forward has an A team, B team, C team, and D team. I hope this is a good team.
I was going to say something like that, yeah.
Based on what I'm looking at here, I feel like this is definitely C team at best, but that's just my honest opinion based on what it looks like right now, because everything's too slow. It's not fast-paced enough for a Metroidvania, and I think part of that's what makes a Metroidvania really, really good is the pacing of your character, how well you move, how well the enemies move. Really, at that point, you're almost playing a Mega Man like with how clunky that movement looked like it, and I'm talking old school Mega Man like, not X or Zero, old school Mega Man like. So I don't know, like that's just kind of my opinion on it. I don't know, Josh, did this one pique your interest? No? Okay.
Yeah, I really just don't see. I don't know. I just sort of overlooked it. I mean, it feels very much like a Metroid, but just kind of slower and cheaper. That sounds really rude, but Way Forward, like I really respect them, and they've done some really great stuff. But at the same time, I feel like they've also got those handful of games that are just kind of almost surprising that they're the ones that worked on them. I don't know.
That's why I only highlighted Shantae, because it's the only good ones they play. I'm kidding. Sorry, Way Forward, if you're out there listening. I don't mean it. I take it back. Yeah. Come on the show and tell us about it. But like, it's one of those things I can't. I don't know that one's going to be high on the list for me. It's going to be one that I skip. I think it has a cool premise, and I think it could have been really, really good, but it's just so bad. Emperor Gombessa live chat. I assume she would get faster when she wears that armor, but I agree the trailer didn't exactly make it seem exciting. No, it did not.
It's almost too much like Metroid, but slow. You know what I mean? Maybe it needs a little more of its own identity or something.
Yep, and me not playing any previous entries in the Yars series, like I think I may be misunderstanding its identity and not seeing it for what it is, but it just doesn't. Yep. It does look like Metroid, but worse. Like it looks like Wish.com Metroid. The next game on the list, and there were 17, by the way. I probably should have highlighted that at the beginning. There were 17 of them. And the next game on the list is really different. It's coming this summer. It is titled Refined Self, the personality test game. Description on it: games can really show someone's personality, don't you think? By way of simple exploration-based adventure, this data science game analyzes your actions to estimate your personality. And I will tell you, like, I really genuinely love the art style they're going for here, because it is almost a Game Boy-esque homage. In some ways, it has very limited color palette that they're using in there. It uses screen dithering to kind of show shadow and maintain within that limited color palette. But the curious thing that I have about this game is exactly what kind of personality are you trying to strive for in this game? Because I feel like, listen, when I play a game versus when I actually am myself, those are two totally different human beings. So what personality type is my gamer personality? It probably is going to be what it's going to define. I like the idea of finding, are you a craftsman? Are you a traveler? Are you a brawler? Are you a clown? But like, at the same time, I don't know if this is, don't go here if you're looking for your INTJ like personality profile on here. But this seems like an interesting concept, but that's pretty much it. An interesting concept at its core. So
I don't know if I'm going to jump to go to buy something like this myself. I'm trying to think of exactly who this would be for, but I'm sure there's someone out there. There are some neat aspects to it, but it's just not my kind of thing. Maybe it's too deep for me. Maybe I'm not intellectual enough.
It's on the deep end of the pool. No, I get it. Like I said, I like the art style. I like the art style a lot, and I think there's a lot to be proud of there. But I just when you start factoring in, it's a personality test and that's the gimmick, like I just don't know like what what ramifications will my choices actually have on the story is what I would care more about than anything, more than knowing what personality type I am in a video game.
I can't say I've played anything like this though, so I could be, we could both be completely missing the point here.
That's true. That is true.
Stuff's really unique. That's the thing with a lot of these indies too. Is some of this stuff, some of it's like really a copy and paste of like big first party or maybe better things, but some of it's just like way out there, and it's really hard. It's really hard to get a good read on it, to be honest.
I'm with you. And then we go into the next game on the list. This was Sticky Business. This one has a 17th of August release date. Sticky Business, this is actually previously released on Steam. I will tell you, Super Nintendo in the live chat, he is a big fan of Sticky Business. But it's a cutesy, like, little artsy style game. The description on it, Sticky Business is a creative, relaxing 2D game developed by Spellgarden Games. Players will create stickers, pack orders, and listen to the stories of customers. Sticky Business is available now for Nintendo Switch, Mac, and PC alongside its DLC. So the date that they originally had listed here, it looks like they went ahead and fully released it. So not 17th of August. I think they mistyped that. I think it was supposed to be 17th of April. My apologies on that misquote. Now, I myself haven't had the chance to try this one out, but that was the same date that the indie presentation happened. This one was one of the shadow drops. But it is cool to see the development team as far as that goes. But I'm going to fast forward a little bit in the video here to kind of show you what you're working with. You're not having to draw everything that you're doing. Like, you've got a select list of assets that you can use. You send those off to print, you sell those online, you get money, you gain people who are going to be like seeing your stuff and want to place more orders. You've got deadlines that you need to meet whenever you're making these. It's cute, it's different. And I think absolutely, if you are a subscriber over on my channel, you've got the ability to use baby game as an emote here. It is absolutely a baby game, but it is one of those like cutesy, very cool. If you have any kind of like artistic experience and creative tendencies that you want to put out there, even if you yourself don't consider yourself artistic, this is a good game to kind of jump into and just kind of get those creative juices flowing. So I would recommend it. Go check that one out. Go check this one out. It is cute, and this one's actually a good one.
Yeah.
You have any thoughts, Josh, before we move on to the next one? I think this one's kind of just self-explanatory.
Yeah, it is. It very much is what it is. It's cute. It's very unique. I don't know if, again, it's a game for everybody, but I can definitely see, especially with some kids, I can see just kind of getting on here and goofing off and having some fun with it. So I appreciate the idea, I guess. Yep.
Man, I really wish they hadn't had that information mistyped on the document that I was looking at for release dates. It's crazy. 17th of April, not August. Netta says this is just kid pics. Oh, man. We talked a little bit about it earlier. Anton Blast. That one's scheduled for the 12th of November. I don't think I'm going to need to show the trailer. We've already seen it like 3 times during the pre-show, but Anton Blast, an explosive action-packed retro platformer featuring a destructive twist to classic gameplay and a lovingly handmade animated pixel aesthetic inspired by Game Boy Advance, blown up and reimagined for the modern era. Silky smooth 60 frames per second action platforming and explosive escapes combined in a bombastic adventure. Blast through buildings, fight your demons, and explore wonky worlds in Anton Blast. I'm going to pick that one up. Like, I will be picking that one up. It's one of those that I love Wario Land in general. And I really, really liked Pizza Tower, and this one is an interesting one to me. So you guys saw it if you were here earlier. Game looks good. Go check it out for yourself. There's a demo. Make a decision that way.
Go download it. Go try it.
Yep. And then we get into Valley Peaks. This one just has a 2024 date on it. And Valley Peaks, to me, when I saw this trailer, it struck me as like, you know the little sticky stick figure men that you can throw against the wall, and they have the sticky balls on their hands and feet, and they kind of like roll down the wall after you throw them on there. Like,
I was thinking of Stick Stickly there for a second. Somebody will know who that is.
No, it's Stick Stickly. Anyway. But like Valley Peaks looks weirdly like that, but it's like first person perspective. and it has this like a short hike kind of aesthetic. I feel like my words really aren't doing this justice. So to describe it from the description that's on here, the mountains are calling in this riveting first-person climbing platformer. Each mountain is like a puzzle, and it's your job to make your way to the top of every ridge to place radio towers for the froggy inhabitants of Valley Peaks. I'm gonna let the trailer kind of do a little bit of talking while Josh gives his input on it. What are you thinking on this one, dude?
My input. So, it actually it makes me think of what was it? A Short Hike, which I played through and is pretty cool. I don't think it's this at all. Have you played any of the Little Gator game?
I have. I played a little bit of a Little Gator game. I have that on my Steam Deck. I don't have it on Switch.
I don't know exactly what it is. It gives me sort of vibes of that.
Mm-hmm.
Like it just sort of seems like you're in a big open sort of playground. I mean, it's first person and you get to climb up hills and things like that. I don't know. This is again one of the hardest things with some of these indie games is some of them are just really, really different.
Yeah.
So I don't know what to exactly to compare them to or what to exactly know what to expect from this.
They're like
the mechanic here seems pretty interesting with the arms. Like, there's like these really long, like grabby arms on the thing.
Yes, yeah.
So I could imagine it being a fairly physics-based thing, perhaps with that. So
it's like rock climbing simulator, except it also has like you are racing boats and you're shooting guns and you've got these like mini puzzles that you're going through and you're petting ducks and getting your friends out of coffins. Looks like it's just like there's no. I would say 3D platformer is probably the closest thing to title that as far as what you're looking at. I mean, it is a 3D platformer, rock climbing. It is a puzzle. Like, how are you going to ascend the mountain is essentially what that game looks like. But I love its aesthetic. And that's also the thing. Like, I don't think that's going to be an easy game by any means. It doesn't look like an easy game unless it's wanting to be cozy, which we've had an entire discussion about that in the Discord about what makes a cozy game and if games can even be definitively cozy. Nettist in the live chat takes a hard stance saying you can't make a cozy game because cozy is different for everyone. Some people like hearing the sounds of murder in the background, like Nettist. I'm kidding. But
I mean, I don't know. But an hour of Doom Eternal can be therapeutic.
That is true. And that could be cozy for a certain individual. But I think it has like a cozy aesthetic, but in and of itself does not look like it is trying to emulate a cozy game. It looks like a genuinely hard 3D platformer where you're climbing from rock to rock, because rock climbing is not easy. But I'm interested in that. I think that is one that I will be picking up. If I had to like rank it on a scale of pass, try a demo, or buy, I think it would be in the buy category for me. But I don't know. What about you? Pass, try a demo, or buy?
How about we'll see. Try a demo.
Try a demo. There we go. Try a demo. Then we get into probably one of the most interesting games on the list. And this is from a aesthetic perspective, from a puzzle gaming perspective, from a theming perspective, all the way around. And it's a game from the studio that brought us Sayonara Wild Hearts, which I played. It was okay. Like that game, there's a lot of people that gave it high praise, but it was basically like a visual music album that you participate in. And then there was another game that this studio came out with, and I didn't even know that this studio did both the original game I'm about to talk about and Sayonara Wild Hearts, but it was Year Walk. And I did Year Walk years ago when it released on Steam. I had a Mac at the time. It was like one of the few games that worked on Mac. And I was checking this out, and it was a puzzle game that was very like Norwegian, Finnish, like that area of the world, culture and mythos, and you're participating in that. But it had all these puzzle elements where you're doing a whole lot of backtracking and checking out the areas behind you and in front of you, and you're having to keep notes in a notepad. And then they had this AR experience that you had a phone app that went along with this that you could only open once you found the right amount of clues for it. And this studio is doing a new game called Lorelei and the Laser Eyes. And it's out on the 16th of May. This is on a buy for me. I really want to check this one out. The description says a woman summoned by an eccentric man to participate in a project in an old hotel somewhere in Central Europe becomes embroiled in a game of illusions, increasingly dangerous and surreal. Now you are invited to fall into the same rabbit hole in a non-linear mystery with an immense amount of handcrafted puzzles constantly presenting you with new riddles to solve, each leading you closer to deciphering the enigma of Lorelei and the Laser Eyes. And I'm going to throw the trailer up here for the people, but it looks crazy. Now, Josh, did you check this one out at all?
I mean, I watched the indie stream thing. I didn't know what to make much of this one myself, but I mean, it could be pretty cool from what I can tell. It looks very much like one of those that you would have to sort of sit down and really focus on, like just turn the lights off, don't have anything else going on, and just give yourself some time to dig into it.
Absolutely. Like I love the aesthetic. The aesthetic reminds me a lot of like oh my gosh, it was Killer 7, I think, on the GameCube way back in the day. Was it not Killer 7? And it kind of has that Travis Strikes Again aesthetic as well. No More Heroes.
Very dark way, yeah.
Yeah, like I'm trying to think of another game that it reminded me of. And I cannot remember what it was, and I have it in my GameCube library. It's just another GameCube game, but I can't remember what it was, and it's crushing me. But like, it just has such a unique aesthetic, and the fact that in order to solve a lot of these puzzles, they're expecting you to pull out pen and paper again. Like, I love that.
I like that idea.
Like,
I do.
Give me a reason to write. I remember playing through Super Mario Bros. 3 way back in the day and doing the N-Spade puzzles. And my dad and I did, we made our own guides of it because the internet did not exist at the time. So we made our own guides of it. And we discovered there were 8 puzzles that it could be and how to solve those as well. And it was so crazy. Virtual Cat in the live chat, you know how much I love pen and paper for games? Yes. Like, this is one of those games you should check out. And Virtual Cat, if you have not checked out their previous game, Year Walk, please go check that out. But this game looks crazy to me. It looks crazy to me.
It catches my interest the more I look into it there. And things like that especially really, sounds cool. Because I do remember like a lot of those days before, especially for the internet. Even now, I think I've almost forced myself to be like this with certain things, like, drawing up little maps for Zelda games. Or I remember specifically me and my dad would write down Brentilda and Banjo-Kazooie. She would tell you things about Grunty, that you would have to use later in the quiz. And we had like a notebook we wrote down all that stuff in so we could use it later. Like, I really like that kind of stuff.
Me too.
Makes it more of an experience,
It does. I am very excited to like just dive into a game that takes me out of the game and makes me think just a little bit. For instance, I was playing through Marvel Ultimate Alliance here recently, and it had a full-on science quiz I didn't expect to happen. And that was frustrating because it didn't prepare me for that, and it didn't give me any information. But when a game can give me information and prepare me for the quiz that's going to happen within it and allow me to go, oh, I need to make note of that, that blows me away. There was another game I played somewhat recently that was... it was like a typewriter game, / old school computer game where you're typing in your inputs, and I cannot remember the name of that game either. And it's in my Steam library. I'm gonna open Steam.
If you said the one I played, I probably wouldn't remember the name anyway. It was like on those old Apple computers in grade school where I first played Oregon Trail and things like that.
I'm pulling up.
It was
Steam.
like a house.
I'll tell you now.
House or something. I think you'd walk into.
I'll tell you here in a moment, because I'm pulling up Steam, and let me see if I can find it in my absolute insane Steam library here as I'm scrolling. Oh my gosh, where is it? We're already kind of ruining everything by keeping this slow. It was not Fears to Fathom. Obviously, it wasn't Final Fantasy Crisis Core. Where is it? I don't think so. No, it wasn't. Not The Witness. Although The Witness is another good one that I would say, hey, Stories Untold. That was the title of that game, and it had me do a whole lot of actual outside of the game research on how the game worked. And there was like a Morse code segment, and I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know Morse code. And I played that one on stream, and it was crazy. I had a person in chat. It was Eric Ladd, a good friend of mine, previous co-hosts on a different show, Breakfast of Champions, that I was on. And he showed up and was like, I know Morse code. And I was like, what? You know Morse code? Insanity. But it was very good. It was very good. And I would recommend Stories Untold as well. Next game on the list.
Quick side note. Side note while we're on that little rant. Oh, poop. Now I can't remember the name of the game. There's a game on the NES that starred... Help me. What the heck is it called? It's not Stardew Valley, obviously.
Oh, Star Tropics.
There's one of them. Star Tropics. Yeah, one of the coolest things. Like, it's a little bit different, but like you could take the like little letter from like your dad or whoever it was that came in the box, and you had to dip it into water at one point. It would tell you to literally dip it into water in the game to get like the code to get to the last level and stuff. Like, they need to bring stuff like that back.
That's crazy. They do.
All right, random little rant.
They absolutely do. Cool, then Europa was announced, and this game looks like it looks like an open world Ghibli video game. Like, if you've watched any Studio Ghibli films, you kind of know the aesthetic that they're going for. Description on here: on the moon Europa, a lush terraformed paradise in Jupiter's shadow, an android named Z sets out in search of answers. Run, glide, and fly across the landscape, solve mysteries in the ruins of a fallen utopia, and discover the story of the last human alive. Game's very charming looking. It's very charming looking. The world is lush. They've got all these like homages to Ghibli stuff. I feel like in a lot of ways, I see a lot of like Nazca Valley of the Wind and Castle in the Sky, and even some Princess Mononoke vibes in some ways that are here. Some Howl's Moving Castle stuff, but I gotta be honest, like there's a part of me that worries about this game. There is a demo that's out for this. I believe there is a demo that is out for this that you can try right now. But part of me that makes me worry about this game is like stuff like Immortals Phoenix Rising that released, and I didn't really care for that game very much. It was not the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild experience I thought it was going to be. But this looks like a mix of Immortals Phoenix Rising meets Journey for the PlayStation 3. Like, I don't know if you remember that game, but
I never played it.
I don't know. This looks crazy. It looks cute, but I just don't know if I'm going to really, really love this. I could have told you Immortals Phoenix whatever would be bad from the name alone, says Nettist in the live chat. Oh no. I'm with you though.
It was alright. I thought it was alright. It did kind of feel like a lesser than Zelda in some ways though.
Mm-hmm. Demo available today. So yeah, that demo was available.
I realized that. I might try that out.
We should have put that in the demo section. I forgot to even add that in.
Yeah.
But you should go try it out, Josh. If you haven't tried it out, like it is one to at least try out and see how it goes. TMNT Splintered Fate, July 2024. But if you have Apple Arcade, you can play it now, which is how I've already played it. I've played quite a bit of this. The thing. I'm not even going to read what it says here because that's not important to me. What their description of this game is not important to me. What I'm going to tell you is that if you take the 4 Ninja Turtles and you put them in a isometric top-down video game that is akin to Hades, and you water it down just a little bit, you get Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Splintered Fate. Now, there was a tie-in comic that was available for it. It was only one issue. It was one issue. It was a one-shot. I bought it so I could read it. I own it. But the gameplay loop is actually very good. But here's my issue with it. And let me turn down the game. Here's my issue with it. I don't have enough friends to get all 4 turtles on the screen. Like,
I need more too.
I want to play this in a multiplayer sense. Now, I played it a lot by myself, and the game is enjoyable on its own. The premise of the game: Master Splinter gets stolen. The turtles have to go into these voids to try to search for him. Very, very Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the original film kind of storyline as far as that goes. You meet a shopkeeper who seems like he's in cahoots with Karai and everybody else, but really he's just there to make a buck. The Foot Clan soldiers are all kind of samey. You get the little chompy boys. They're all kind of samey. But like the skill tree, I don't feel like, even though like I know that Hades' skill tree, it works very different from the skill tree in this. It doesn't feel like a huge advantage on this like roguelite experience that they're throwing you into. But I've had a lot of time with this game. And the single player aspect of it is still very good, but I think with 4 players, like you'll have a much better time. The boss fights are very interesting, and they've got some cool designs overall. But it's just Hades. It's just Hades with turtles. That's all it is. So
that's not a bad thing.
No, if you
liked it, both of those things.
Yeah, if you liked it, check it out.
Need people to play with though.
That's July. So, Josh, I know that we're going to talk about a different Turtles game that came out today, but are you interested in picking this one up? Is this going to be on your radar for real? Like, will you pick this one up because you like both of those things, or because you don't have friends to play it with? Let me finish that sentence before it gets too far. Because you don't have friends to play it with. Will you be picking it up? I don't know, man.
I'm very, very interested in it. I'll see if I can rope in people to actually jump in there with me. It's definitely got my attention.
We should do it one night as an on-stream event at least, and just like
that'd be cool.
Get some people to join in with us. Yeah, that'd be good. If
it's not on mine, yeah.
Next game on the list here, Cat Quest 3, 8th of August. This is what they said, unless it's April again, which who knows? I think it's August though, for real this time. Ahoy, ye brave buccaneers and fearless feline adventurers. Prepare to weigh anchor on August 8th as the Cat Quest 3 hoists its sails, embark on a voyage through the Caribbean, and clash swords with the notorious pirates. There's no better way to celebrate International Cat Day. Take command of your own sea vessel, meowster the waves, and plunder your way through this swashbuckling cat venture. Join forces with your matey for local co-op play, and together turn the tides of fate. Will ye be the one to discover the mythical North Star, set paw on the path to glory? And that's the description. That's literally how it's written. I read it how it is written. Don't judge me for my pirate tone. But like the game, can I ask a question? And no one get offended in chat. Why do they keep making these? Why make Cat Quest 1 and 2 and then also 3? And I'm talking about Tenderly, who's out there in the live chat. I know she's still listening, but like, I don't mean to offend, but like, it's just one of those things where I don't know how I feel about Cat Quest in general. It doesn't look that good to me, and maybe I'm wrong. Am I wrong? Have you played the other two?
Never played them. I mean, they look okay. It's kind of cute, I guess. I don't know. They're just kind of one of those. There's so many games on the eShop that are just kind of there. You know what I mean? It's just kind of one of those that I've just scrolled past. I honestly, I don't know a whole lot about it. It looks okay. I mean, this one does. Somebody's playing them. They've got 3 of them.
I mean, that's true. They launch at a pretty cheap entry level price. Yeah, this looks different than what I thought it was. I thought Cat Quest was an RPG, like turn-based RPG experience, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong because I haven't played 1 and 2.
Monster Boy a little bit, maybe. I could be completely off on that. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do know what you're talking about. I think Monster Boy has more of that kind of like Shantae 2D platforming experience. Yeah. This is more like. I mean, the artwork in this one actually looks really, really good. So, I mean, clearly they've got a budget for it. But, like, it's just one of those things.
We've joked about it, but this trailer does look okay for what it is.
Yeah. I mean, I gave it a hard time.
3 to something. Yeah.
That's true. It does. And it's got multiplayer. You can be multiple cats, and it's a beat 'em up. Maybe this one isn't going to be so bad, but I felt like the first, it just made me, like, when you see a title that says Cat Quest as the title, like, you don't immediately go, oh, that's going to be good. Most people don't go, oh, that's going to be great. But, like, I just don't know. I don't know. Like, I don't know how I feel about it. There's a demo available today on the Nintendo eShop, so maybe I should just give it a spin and just see. But I think I missed the boat on that on that particular game by not playing the first two. So if it's not a turn-based RPG, please just tell me, chat or commenters on YouTube. Like, I need to know, because I thought they were RPGs, but poorly done RPGs. You want to move on to the next game, Josh?
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I was distracted with the comment section there.
Keep putting them in there. Keep putting them in there. The next game on here, it released on the 17th, and that was Stitch. Period. The paint by numbers, but instead of painting, you're doing cross stitch by numbers. The main objectives fill in the level's areas with no gaps to complete hoops. They let you create beautiful embroidery patterns by solving levels and hoops of various difficulties and sizes. It's easy to learn, but hard to master. Stitch up all the beautiful landscapes, plants, animals, objects, and more. This game, it looks interesting. Like, it looks interesting, but it also looks like a not my kind of game experience. And I'm not going to say it's bad. It's just not my kind of game. But it looks relaxing. It looks relaxing. Josh, how do you feel about it? Give me your feelings. Give me your thoughts.
My wife cross stitches like in real life and has gotten really good at it for a while. So I actually gave it a shot myself, and I've been like more than halfway through one of Rayman that she printed out the thing for me, and I was like, all right, this will be cool. It is one of the most frustrating things I've ever tried. Like, just trying to get everything all like restitched and cut and whatever, make it look pretty. This kind of takes away all that, but I don't have like a trophy to show after the job's done.
That's true.
I kind of feel like I don't know if I see the full point in it just because of that, but at the same time, if this could be a neat little puzzle game. From it kind of looks like just sort of a paint by numbers, but maybe if I look a little deeper into it, if it's something like I can't think of what I'm trying to compare it to. Like, I would almost want to say like a Picross or something. If there's some sort of puzzle element like that.
I mean, it says it's a puzzle game, but I don't know if it's going to be quite that in depth. It just seems like here's your numbers and you do your stitches based on those numbers, and that's it. Like,
if it's just that, I'm not super interested, but if there's a little bit of a puzzle element to it, there could be something pretty neat.
And man, you're speaking to my heart. I am a Picross enjoyer by far. Like, I love Super Mario's Picross for the Game Boy. Like, that's just one of those things.
Yeah,
it's just
like pretty good.
Man,
you have the Twilight Princess, the Zelda one on the 3DS.
So good.
I was just wondering. That was the one I spent the most time on.
All of them.
There's a Sega one. I get really distracted. There's a Sega Genesis one on the Switch that's pretty good too, and it's got co-op on it.
Dude, need to check that out. I need to check out some more of those. But I love Picross, and if you haven't played it, go play Picross. Like, they're usually like $4 to $5 at most on the eShops. You can get a whole bunch of them on Nintendo Switch. Emperor Gambessa, I feel like the fun of cross-stitching is having something physical to show for your work. This looks to be basic. Looks too basic to be fun. And that's where I'm at with it. There is a good Konami one on Phones Virtual Cat. Thank you for bringing that one up, too. So you have options. If you don't have a Switch, which also, again, why are you watching the show if you don't have a Switch?
Yeah, go away.
Go buy a Switch and then come back. But there are some good ones. The next game on the list, this one is an instant buy for me. 1000% instant buy. It's a game by the title of Bzzzt. Yes, I pronounced that right. It's BZZZT. Bzzzt. And you become a tiny ZX8000 robot and begin your journey through a beautiful pixel art world inspired by games iconic to the platformer genre. Follow a surprising story, upgrade your skills, beat challenging levels, and compete with other players for this fastest speed run. And oh my gosh, Josh, have you seen the pixel art in this game? It is beautiful. It's so good looking.
It does look really good. Very colorful. Now you're a little more of the speed run sort of guy than me. That's not as much my forte, but this does look really fun. As long as it's not like stupidly frustratingly difficult. This definitely looks like a good time to me. It looks like there's a little bit of variety in there as well, like with the little shooting mech thing going on and all that. So this looks like a good time.
It looks so good. Like, I am very excited for this one. Yeah, I mean, like, I think part of the fun of this one in particular is just how pretty it looks coming this summer. It's just how pretty it looks. But even on top of that, like, I do like a good precision platformer, a good precision platformer. And this one looks like it's going to kind of meet that experience of a hard Mario Maker Kaizo kind of level. You know what I'm talking about? Like it looks like it's going to meet that experience, but it is very much a tailored experience to allow progression. Whereas like Kaizo sometimes doesn't really want you to progress. They want the best of the best to progress. And I feel like this will be a little more approachable than some Kaizo. But as far as the fastest speedrun, I don't know that I'll be competing for that in that game. But I definitely will be trying that one almost instantly. I just want to experience the game. It looks like a fun time, like a good rage platformer. So, I don't know. Skim. I don't even know how to pronounce this properly. But that was the next game on the list. Comes out 18th of July. This is not necessarily on my buy list. It is on a try list for sure. This will be on my try list. But embark on a playful journey in Shim and get ready to jump from shadow to shadow. This 3D platformer integrates light, shadow, and animation into its gameplay. So essentially, you play as a little baby boy Shadow, trying to jump from shadow to shadow. Yeah, Shadow the Hedgehog. Yes, that one. Trying to jump from shadow to shadow to make it back to your human, whose shadow you actually belong to. And I think this is a really interesting concept. And it kind of reminds me a lot of, I don't know if you're familiar with The Pedestrian by any chance. I know it came out on Steam. It came out on PlayStation 5. There we go. Virtual Cat in the live chat. Vaguely like The Pedestrian. It kind of reminds me of that experience where you're going from sign to sign in that game as a little stick figure, going from like signs to sign, and it has this puzzle element. But this is very much more a platformer than a puzzler, I feel like, in a lot of ways. And I'm A-okay with that. Game looks cool. It looks neat, and it has a very limited color palette. Again, I think that's kind of the theme with a lot of these games. This Indie Direct is, you know, how artistic and abstract can we be with our color range and make something that's visible and very easy to understand. So
I appreciate that though. Like I get a little tired, I guess. That sounds negative, but of looking at like the same thing like that, I feel like would just kind of get a little plain after a while. But at the same time, I really appreciate what they can do with limitations. Like I think that's something that's great about things like even Mario Maker. I think for me, at least with like a brain I have, I think some limitations does some good.
Oh no!
It really pulls out some neat stuff.
Oh man, I know I'll be picking this one up. It is one that I want to grab, so I think I want to pick that one up. I know I said it's probably my try, but the more I watched of the trailer there, it changed my mind almost instantly. Like I was like, this seems neat. Next game on the list, Animal Well, that they talked about. Now, this is another reason why I don't have time for a whole lot of other video games, but and why I'm making the choices I'm making. But Animal Well looks amazing. Now, I saw this one originally when they teased it way back. I mean, it was like 7-8 months ago when they originally teased it. Now, they have a release announcement that they talked about with for Nintendo Switch. Releases on the 9th of May. Beautiful platformer, and it is, I think it's definitely going to be a challenging platformer, but at the same time it is designed to be cozy and evoke feelings in a way kind of like Ori and the Blind Forest does, evoke some feelings, but it's got some very simplistic pixel art, but at the same time has this very neat CRT filter over it. I'm going to pull up the trailer here for the people so that way they can see what I'm talking about. But it is beautiful. It is beautiful. And those are my thoughts on it already. Like, this is an instant buy for me. What are you thinking, Josh?
Again, for me, this has kind of gotten to the point where there's just so many of them. It's hard for me to say. And I love Ori and the Blind Forest and Ori and the Will of Wisp. For whatever reason, I'd never beat the second one, even though I know it's a really good game. I guess I kind of got stuck. But with this, yeah, it's for me. It's just going to be a wait and see what happens with it. See how it turns out. See how reviews are and things like that. So word of mouth. So it just sort of got lost in the fold for me for whatever reason when I was watching this. So I can't say I've really dug into it as much as some of the others yet, but it does look really pretty.
Nolan in the live chat, it's got a bit of that slug cat aesthetic. It truly does. It's so funny, but like it is so pretty, and what they're doing with the lighting in here, it just blows me away. It is, and I like that. I like that for this. Like, I think it's so unique. It's like this forest spirit kind of experience, and I'm very much looking forward to playing that one. Big Mode and Shared Memories got something really, really cool going on there. Due out on the 9th. So that's another reason why I'm not going to be able to pick up a whole bunch of stuff, because there's just way too much going on. Duck Detective, The Secret Salami, the 23rd of May, 2024. I don't know. I'm just going to let the trailer play in the background. I don't know how I feel about this. The Duck Detective probably would have been an even better like name, but it just like it doesn't scream to me, please buy me. It has a very good like Paper Mario sticker-ish aesthetic going on, but I don't know. I don't necessarily want to do detectives work as a duck. And that's just where I'm at with it. This is on a pass for me. But how are you feeling, Josh?
A little different about that. Like I like the idea of a detective kind of game. You know, I've been currently not super current. Well, okay, a couple weeks ago, I've been reading like the Sherlock Holmes books and stuff. You know, catching up on some classics like that. And you know, this kind of half has my attention maybe. Again, with a lot of these, I feel like I'm like, oh, that looks cool, and then when they come out, it just kind of nothing, or the exact opposite. I ignore them, and then they come out, and then they turn out awesome. So. Well, again, we'll see. Like a lot of these, I'm just gonna say we'll see. It does. I think it has my attention more than it does yours.
That's fair.
So I think I need to understand how the gameplay itself will work a little bit better, maybe.
Like I'm just waiting for Professor Layton to come out at this point. Like that's the detective I want to be.
Really should be here.
So I know that's later this year, I believe. If I'm remembering correctly, we talked about that.
We should have like at least the first game or something, you know, available on the Switch in some form.
I mean, we've already got Phoenix Wright, and I feel like those games kind of exist within the same ecosystem in some ways. Like, I feel like those games...
crossover.
Yeah, like, it's just one of those things. I don't know why they haven't brought Professor Layton over, but you know, I'm keeping my fingers crossed. Maybe someday. Super Nintendo ad, Professor Layton should be out by 2026. Don't do me like that, and I hope it's out before then. But one other thing he does mention there... it's got voice acting, and they said this game is like 2 to 3 hours. So, I mean, 2 to 3 hours, as long as it's under $10, I'm down. Like, if they keep the price point under $10, then it may be a good time. But I don't know. Sherlock Bones, he's alone.
Did you play the alligator game? I think, is that what it's called?
The alligator
You know what I'm talking about?
No, I don't know what you're talking about. What are you talking about?
You have to figure out like a mystery, and you're a little alligator, and you're wandering around town. You'll have to look it up. I don't know what else to compare it to. That's kind of what it's giving me the vibes of. Maybe I think it's the alligator game. It's been a little while since I've played it.
Later Alligator?
Is that it?
I don't know. You got Little Gator Game, like Angry Alligator, Angry Crocodile Attack, Alligator Hunt, Angry Alligator, Nintendo Switch again. What are you talking? I don't know. Maybe it's later Alligator.
I think it's later Alligator.
2019 point and click adventure.
That's it.
Okay. Oh no, I've seen that. Yeah. I've seen that. Okay. So I haven't played it. I didn't touch it. But it had a really cool aesthetic too. Later Alligator.
Yeah.
Crazy. Next on the list, this is one that I do want to pick up. It's Cute Dark Souls. It's another Crab's Treasure. We've already talked about it a couple of times on the show here. But like the game is out 25th of April 2024. Let me throw up the trailer here for you people. Oh, it's gone. Where did it go? Stitch, Cat Quest, Sizzle Reel. Where are you?
You broke it.
This was a part of the Sizzle Reel, I think, is the problem. Yeah, here we go. Another Crab's Treasure. Aggro Crab, April 25th, 2024. I really want to play this one. It looks pretty. Yeah. I hope that it looks a little bit better on the Switch than this footage that they're showing. But I'm not necessarily optimistic. But it was part of the Sizzle Reel, so unfortunately it didn't have its own dedicated trailer, but there's plenty of trailers.
In there, yeah. I think I just have to see more of it. I feel like it was really quick.
Oh, don't worry, it won't. That is, come on, man. Like, make me feel a little bit better on here in the live chat. Final game on the list. This is when they saved it for their like get hype moment, and I know that there are people who are big fans out there who are big fans of this game series, and its various spin-offs, as far as that goes. But like SteamWorld Heist 2 was their big one. And it says, get ready to join Captain Leeway and set sail on the Great Sea in this turn-based strategy game. Bullets ricochet with deadly precision as you go on heists to find epic loot. Whilst trying to figure out just what is causing the water crisis, put together your ragtag steamboat crew and sail across the sea to uncover the mysteries that surround you. I don't know if that was the game to say, hey, we're gonna end the show on. SteamWorld Dig, I've heard really, really good things about. It's like Shovel Knight Dig, if you've played that, but it came out well before Shovel Knight Dig did.
It's definitely, it's good. SteamWorld Dig 2 is even better.
Yeah, but I don't know. You've played the first SteamWorld Heist, right? Yeah, at least a few minutes of it you mentioned. I didn't.
Played probably about halfway through it. And I don't know if that's saying the game is like bad or anything. I do that with a lot of RPGs, and I hate that about myself. I just get distracted in their big commitments. But it was pretty cool. I don't know if I'll jump into the second one just because I never beat the first one. But for me, that's just me. It was a really good game. The combat was pretty interesting, where you do have to sort of aim like your weapon, like maybe like to ricochet off a wall just right at the enemy and things like that. So it was a pretty cool game. I don't know. I'm interested to see if it's going to make you feel like you need to play the first one before this one. Because if it's only improved on the first one and you don't, it's kind of its own thing, it might catch my interest a little more.
It's just not on my radar. And that's just kind of where I'm at with it. It's like SteamWorld's never really been on my radar as a game I must play by any means. I like the idea of setting up shots. But I mean, if I really want that, I can get that out of like Katana Zero, for instance. But like, this game is just it's not one that just like engages me and makes me want to play it. And that's not to say it's a bad game. It's just not the thing for me. And I will say Thunderful puts out some really, really good games. I mean, they were the publisher on Curse to Golf. Like they were the people. So I'm not entirely unoptimistic that's going to be a good game, but it looks like an early 2000s Flash game with the way that the characters are animated and kind of like the backgrounds are very.
Now I can't unsee that. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like it's just like the backgrounds are so far in the back, and it looks like you're messing with. Honestly, Netist probably sums it up the best in the live chat. Paper doll animation is really off-putting, and that's where I'm at with it. Is like it's just not one of those things that I'm like. I don't know. Apparently, I look like an early Flash game, though, according to Super Nintendo. Man, I'm getting roasted by the live chat. But I would say out of those, the things that I'm definitely most excited for is just I really like the idea of Valley Peaks, Lorelei and the Laser Eyes. But if I had to pick just 3 out of there. Just Lorelei and the Laser Eyes and probably Anton Blast are like my go-tos for what I'm going to want to do. So, I don't know. How are you feeling? How are you feeling about the overall indie presentation? Did it blow you away? Did it make you feel good about the future of Nintendo? How are you feeling? What would you rate it on a scale of 10?
Oh gosh, see that's where it gets really tricky, especially with indies. Because I feel kind of rude because I know some of these people are really trying hard and they really got into something they really want to do. I'd love to do this myself.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it was a better indie world than some others have been. A lot of times I'll sort of zone out, or they're just a bunch of farming games. Nothing against those necessarily, or a bunch of like JRPG, whatever. But I think this one's pretty interesting. There's some stuff in there that I feel like could really surprise us by the time it comes out. I'd put it on the higher end of that, maybe the 7-ish. So that's just for me. I wish I would see Playtonic actually, develop something again.
If I'm being honest, right? So I think if we think back to when we talked about the partner direct and when we talked about the Pokemon Presents. And we gave a rating to both of those. I think you gave to the partner showcase, the partner direct, whatever it was called. I think you gave that a 7. Do you think this is on par with that? Or do you think that this is better than that? Because I will say, I'll give you my score, okay? I'll give you my score. Because I gave the Partner Direct like a 4 or a 5 out of 10. I can't remember. It was low. I was like, this was a disappointment. Yeah. And it's not because I was expecting anything, right? But like, I went into Indie World not knowing what to expect. That's the other thing, is like, I didn't know what to expect. I had some things on my list and none of it made it. None of it was there. We talked about that last week, but I mean, I would give this a solid 7 out of 10. I'm with you on your ranking, but I'm just saying it was definitely better than the Partner Direct, and I think you told me the Partner Direct was better than my score.
I can't remember the Partner Direct now off the top of my head. That's been so long.
It was the one with the Endless Ocean Luminous, my dude.
Well, yeah, the ending was kind of whatever. If I can go back on that, maybe I drop it to a 6. I can't remember anything else of that one, so maybe that says something. Maybe I scored that one a little high, but no, I'd at least give this one a 7 in my book. Yeah. The Indie Directs is really hard for me to, or Worlds or whatever, are really weird for me to watch because I don't know. I feel like I've seen so many where it's like, this looks like a really cool concept, and then it comes out and it's not all that great, or the exact opposite. So I don't know what to make of these half the time. I'll watch them, but yeah, it's really hard to score those.
Yep. I mean, I would say here, like, if I had to rate each of these games' presentations and what I would say about it, like Little Kitty Big City doesn't speak to me. Europa 5-6 out of 10. SteamWorld Heist again, like 5-6 out of 10. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Splinter Fate, I've played it. I really enjoy that game. I give that a 7.5 to an 8 out of 10. It's a good average time. Cat Quest 3, no interest. I don't want to rank it. Yars Rising, I'm going to give that like a 2. But Sticky Business, Lorelei and the Laser Eyes, Anton Blast, Another Crab's Treasure, Animal Well, Skim, I don't even know how it's pronounced, Valley Peaks, and Bzzt, like all of those rank anywhere between like a 7 to a 10 out of 10 looking game to me. Like,
there's enough here that even if they're not my game, I still kind of find them pretty interesting. You know, at least the idea of them. So I can't really say it was bad.
No, it was a very enjoyable indie world, and I had some good surprises there and stuff that looked inventive. And that's really all I'm ever looking for, is like, give me something different and stick the landing with your aesthetics visually. Like, stick the landing with your aesthetics and give me something different, and then you can count me in almost all the way. That's why I liked the looks of Skim, Shim, and Animal Will, and I mean even though it's like your traditional puzzle or not puzzle, my gosh, traditional pixel art platforming action, like they did a really good job with the detail on the pixels that they used. So like, it looks really, really pretty. So I don't know. I'm definitely in the, hey, this is probably a 7 out of 10, maybe even an 8 out of 10 experience. I would say, hey, go give this a look and experience some of these games. So I don't know. That's where I land on it. That does bring us into extra Nintendo news. Do you want to take away the extra Nintendo news here, and then I'll cover upcoming games when we get there? Cool. Yep, here we go. And we're back.
Thank you, Isabel. We're back here. We got a few things here that are fairly interesting. This first one here is Delta, not the airline, by the way, takes the U.S. Apple App Store by storm. This is a emulator that is on the App Store. It's pretty easy to find on the Apple App Store. I feel weird always talking about these, but I may or may not have downloaded it. I can't confirm or deny that I've been
breaking the law.
So, I'm just gonna say that much. But yeah, it's there. I mean, if you have, they don't tell you exactly where to get like ROMs or anything like that, because that gets a little sketchy sometimes legally. And obviously, you can see in the screenshots they're not showing off Zelda or anything like that because they can't. But this thing can play.
There's Mario and Pokemon though, no fear.
Yeah, That seems a little worrisome. I feel like they're going to get themselves in trouble. But this thing can play NES, Super Nintendo, Nintendo 64, kind of roughly, but it's there. Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, and Nintendo DS, which is a fairly interesting one, I
That's
think, especially
insane
for
to
like
me.
cell phones. Yeah. So and from what I have seen, at least from what I've looked up from all of you delinquents, definitely not myself. It runs pretty well. From everything except for the little bit of 64 I saw, but that may have just been the game I witnessed. Um, yeah, I would recommend it if you ever check it out. Um, I would recommend sticking true to the games that maybe are a little more touchscreen based, like some DS ones or ones that are like RPGs or something.
Yeah, nothing
Not that
platforming
requires
intensive.
because you got that. It's a touchscreen. It's better than a lot of other things I've seen before. That actually works fairly well for certain games. So it's there. I to me it's very very surprising. I don't see this lasting very long. I could see Nintendo um, definitely trying to do all they can to get this off the App Store. So
Yeah,
this definitely surprised me to see.
I see like two things happening here. The first thing is Nintendo either goes after Delta and says, "Hey, I want this removed." The second thing though, I think this is more likely. Nintendo finally releases an answer because they're already in the mobile games market. They're already failing as far as that goes with that because like the Animal Crossing Pocket Camp is not making the money they wanted it to. Dr. Mario World got pulled down. Super Mario Run, it's like whatever. But like I think they have a really big opportunity to step up and do something. But here's my big take on this is the emulation has been available to everybody for a long time on multiple different devices, not even just the iPhone. And I'm not trying to gatekeep people's joy and enjoyment because I'm an Apple user, power user as far as that goes. I've got the AirPods. I had a watch for a long time. I got rid of it. I have an iPad. So having the ability to do that is fun to do on my phone and just kind of grab it because I always have that device with me. I don't always have my analog pocket with me or another thing that I can emulate from. And I don't have an Android device. But I think this being as popular as it is and being as prominent as it is on probably one of the most used user ecosystems that there are is definitely going to raise some eyes from Nintendo when it comes down to it. So hopefully they provide an answer. I would much rather pay for my answer.
That's a good thing.
And give Nintendo my money,
right?
Than them sue the Delta emulator and nothing happen for the gamer itself. Like
that's the good thing about stuff like this is hopefully it starts to push their hand. They've got to be aware of how much there is. I mean, there's a big want for this stuff. They just won't put it out there.
Right.
Excuse me. Even with the NSO stuff, it's kind of weak sauce sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
They did put out some stuff here a little while ago at 9:00, but maybe we'll talk about that here in a minute. But a little random.
Absolutely.
But, that's that. It's fairly interesting to me. Yeah, I definitely will keep up with that whole thing. I don't see it lasting long.
No.
But, knowing Nintendo, they might just try to sue them and move on with their lives and not do anything. But we'll see. So I'm gonna move on to the next one here. The next one is very near and dear to my heart, but this one's in Japan, so who knows? I'd love to make it there someday. There's one coming to Orlando as well, but it is again about the Donkey Kong Country area and the Universal Park there. This one's for Universal Japan expansion. It has been delayed, probably to later this year. So it's at least got pushed back a few months. So it'll be a little bit longer until we get some good footage of that stuff, and I personally can't wait. I have full plans after this summer for that to be like my next trip is to build up for Orlando in a couple of years for when that's done at Epic Universe there, because this is stuff I've dreamed of for 30 years. Absolutely. I mean that's not exaggerating, especially with the minecart.
Right, that ride looks sick. It looks really really cool, and I like what they're doing with that whole park. But like the ride itself is inventive, looking like you're jumping the tracks, and that is something that is different. I mean, it's not been done in roller coasters before, so like that's gonna be cool. It's gonna be cool.
This is one of those things that me and my dad talked about just for decades ago, because Donkey Kong Country is super like big to me.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait for that.
Absolutely.
Well, moving on from that one, Nintendo. So this one's pretty interesting to me as well. Nintendo wanted Samus Aran to be exclusive to Nintendo Switch in Fortnite. That doesn't surprise me whatsoever, and I feel like we heard these rumors before. For me, I can't remember about you, Cody. I kind of avoided Fortnite for the longest time. I had some friends yank me into it, and I had some good times with the right people. I'm not gonna lie, I really have. Even put a little bit of money into it here and there. So I could definitely, if Nintendo would add something like Samus in there, I would definitely go out and do it. I'm hit and miss. Some of them are still playing it, and I'm like, yeah, I'm good. I'll just play something else. But regardless, for me, I would be okay if they did it this way. Yeah, that's coming from someone who is a big Nintendo guy, and mostly play on the Switch. But I'd be okay if they did that for any of them. If Xbox was the only one that could get certain characters, or if PlayStation, I don't know. I think it's kind of a neat way to represent what you're playing on. I would be perfectly fine with that. You might be a little more in the know-how of how this works on the back end. You mentioned like it could be a programming thing, where it could be more of a pain in the butt than it's worth. But I don't know. I wish they would have just went along with it myself.
I'm kind of with you. It's like one of those things where, Nintendo was definitely a stickler, and they're very protective of their IPs. And you look at something like Master Chief and Kratos, both of those are available on all platforms. Like you can use those on Switch, you can use those on Steam, you can use those on Xbox, you can use them on PlayStation. Doesn't matter where. Master Chief is very much a Xbox mascot. Kratos is very much a PlayStation mascot, and they were comfortable enough to have that happen. But like Nintendo being the sticklers and wanting to have control of their IPs the way that they did, it's just kind of like, I don't know, that just kind of rubs me a little bit the wrong way. But I think I legitimately think that it just boils down to the way that they have that stuff programmed, and they didn't want to have them all the way only on one console. And one of the things that they said is Epic wanted Fortnite to remain the same experience across all platforms, no matter the screen or the device you're playing on. So they didn't want to just like alienate somebody or incentivize people to go and pick up one system over another and ruin their relationships all the way across the board with Xbox, PlayStation, what have you. And so I think that was more so the thing that probably was more preventative on why they didn't just go, okay, well, we'll give you a Metroid exclusive skin, it's fine. And then, like Super Nintendo says in the live chat, they had done the same thing with the Nintendo skins in Rocket League. They're generic skins when you do crossplay. That's almost kind of a pullback and almost a disappointment. Like if I did go out and buy a Nintendo Switch and to have the Metroid Samus Aran skin, and I go and do crossplay with somebody who's on Xbox, and all they see is my default skin, what did I actually truly gain at that point?
That would suck. See, I feel like they should still allow that. Someone mentioned in the comment, I can't remember who it was. I think it was the Super Nintendo here. I apologize. In Rocket League, they have like the Samus skins and the Mario and Luigi ones, and I do have those. But if you crossplay, which I don't think I have in that, they just show up as default. Like I can understand if you can only get them on Nintendo, but if that's the case, that's pretty lame. If they can't even see what you're playing with, so I don't know. It's a little bit of Nintendo being Nintendo, and I feel like I definitely see both sides of that one.
Yeah.
Because I'm kind of glad they've always been super protective of their IP. I think in a lot of ways it's annoying, but I think it's done them a lot of good.
Yep. I'm with you.
But I don't know. They're the only ones not playing ball here, so This is kind of one of those. It's just kind of annoying moments.
Let's get into new games. We're going to wrap up tonight's show. We got 2 more segments left. We're going to get into the new games coming out this week, and then dive into our Histowii section. So see you right after this jump. First new game this week, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Arcade Wrath of the Mutants. This came out today, and it's been hyped up enough, but it is not a good time. It is getting absolutely lambasted in terms of reviews.
I was really confused. Like, I kept seeing this, and I kept thinking it was the other game. I didn't realize there was two different
Splintered Fates. Games. You thought it was Splintered Fates from the indie?
I was getting... Yeah, for the longest time. Like, I figured it out before the show, but I was really, really confused. Like, I thought they were the same thing. And I was like, wait a minute, that doesn't come out now. That comes out in July. Yeah. And then I started putting the pieces together.
No, so. This was out today, and it is doing so bad. And it almost breaks my heart because I do really like the Nickelodeon Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that they did with this.
Yeah, it's a cool one.
I like the storyline that they set. I really like the character designs, but like from a frames perspective, from a character design perspective in this game, like it just looks like absolute utter gutter trash. And we don't normally just absolutely lambaste video games when we're recommending games to play during this segment of the week. We hope that these games are going to be good when we bring them up, but I'm mentioning it because I don't want people to buy this game. Because it is gutter trash. Came out today. Single system 1 through 4 players. I don't think it has online mode by any means. This is from Game Mill Entertainment. I mean, if you look at any of these Game Mill games, they did All Star Brawl 2. They did Trolls.
Brawl 2 was cool.
Remix Rescue.
Hold on. I'm gonna take up for All Star Brawl 2. That was a pretty fun game, and I wish it would have done better because like the single player stuff, it was actually pretty good. 1 was kind of whatever, but 2 was pretty good. Nobody played it.
They did Nickelodeon Kart Racers, which actually is an okay kart racer. It's no Mario Kart by any means.
Hard. Yeah, it was all right.
But I mean, they are very hit and miss, and in this case, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Arcade Wrath of the Mutants is absolutely a miss. So please save your money. Please save your money.
Give it for Splintered Fate. Just
Then we get into later on this week, Another Crab's Treasure. This is due out on the 25th. We've talked about it before. If you pre-order it now, you do get the sale price of $26.99. It is regularly $29.99. The sale ends on the 3rd of May. So you have a week after it releases, essentially, to be able to really check this one out. But I mean, it is underwater Dark Souls. You're playing as Sebastian the Hermit Crab. I'm kidding. It's not Sebastian the Hermit Crab from Little Mermaid. But You're playing as a crab who's going from shell to shell, and trying to take on other beasts, and you get perks and different things like that as you're rehoming yourself and getting new equipment. It's cute, Dark Souls. I'm excited for that one. I really want to pick this one up and play it. I think it's going to be a good time. And on the same day, Saga Emerald Beyond. We've talked about this a couple of times on stream. It is a JRPG experience. It's part of a very revered franchise that I would recommend anybody to really go out and try. There is a demo available. I do believe that save data carries over. It is one of those games that, like, it is very anime. It's not Josh's alley, I promise you. Josh will not like it, but if you want to try it, it has the demo available. It's $49.99 when it launches. This one, Saga Emerald Beyond, please go try this one. I think it's going to be good. And then we get into anime's answer to Mario Party. And yeah, we're deep into the anime areas right now, but this is Kimetsu no Yaiba Demon Slayer Sweep the Board. And that is, just look at this beautiful artwork. Just look at this beautiful artwork. This is due out also on the 25th. It is $59.99, a full $60 for this game. The one thing I will praise this game for is that most of these anime games that we talk about on stream, they all look the same. Like, there's no NPCs. The world looks empty. It looks like it was churned out in a Japanese sweatshop. Like, it just does not, like, it looks like there was no love poured into the games at all most of the time. It's like, here's a cash grab. It's tied into our anime. Buy it, please. And a lot of people still do. But the game
for it, not for anime. I mean, I bought Sonic Shuffle, so.
Oh my god! So, yeah. But that's the thing, is like, this game does look a little bit different because it is doing something different. It's doing the board game aesthetic. It's I don't know. And if you're a fan of Demon Slayer, which is an okay anime, it's got a little bit of a Monster of the Week kind of vibe going with it. But like, if you're a fan of Demon Slayer, check out the game. If you want to do some Mario Party action, probably try to have some friends. But we're all weebs here, except Josh. Josh is not a weeb. We're all weebs, and we know none of us have any actual friends. All we have are us and 3 body pillows of our favorite anime waifu. They don't swing controllers around. It can't happen. So that is the new games for the week. Josh, are you ready to take on Histowii?
Sure, I'm not exhausted whatsoever.
I can tell in your eyes. All right, welcome to the part of the show that we call Histowii. In this segment, my co-host Josh must try to guess a game that was released within the past week, but years ago, based off of a trivia, a sound, my apologies, a screenshot, and a sound. Josh, as my resident nostalgia nerd, do you feel like you have what it takes to finally add at least a half more point on this board so that way it stops being 10.5?
Well, yeah, I need one that's 1.5 points. Like, I need to do it so good. It's 1.5 points.
Listen, I'll find a game with the longest title in the world, and you'll have to like actually guess it. Like, it'll be good. It'll be a good way to do that. Audience, I'll ask if you're watching at home and watching us live, please feel free to put your guesses in the live chat. Josh is turning off the live chat. He's not looking at it. He's not going to do it.
Hold on.
He's getting away from it. Oh, I see.
I had to send one more thing. There we go.
I see. And if you're catching it later on YouTube, please feel free to put your guess in the comments. And if you guess it right, I will send Tanjiro from Demon Slayer, Kimetsu no Yaiba, Sweep the Board, to come and give you proper body snuggles. And really teach you the ways of water breathing. So all that being said, clue number 1 is coming on the board right now, and it is April 23rd, 1993 saw the release of a revered franchise sequel. They hoped to rewrite history with a Game Boy re-release later that year, but failed.
Okay. Don't got it yet, that's for sure.
All right. Don't got it yet. So clue number 2 is going to be coming to you in our private chat here. Okay, clue number 2 is coming to you in our private chat, and I'm going to reveal it to the audience at home. This is clue number 2.
Okay. I know what this is. I know I do.
I hope you think you do. I don't know if you will know.
I'm going to get it wrong. Is what sucks, and I'm going to be mad at myself.
And describe for the audience at home, for our audio listeners, what you're seeing.
We have a beautiful, luscious, like, Game Boy looking. I think it's the Game Boy Color, from what I can tell. Maybe the NES? Anyway, it is like a little waterfall. Looks like maybe going down in a little underwater cave. You know, it's got like there's 2 little crates like up on a little ledge to the right. Best way I can describe it, it almost looks like a Sonic the Hedgehog level on the Game Boy, but I'm obviously, I just didn't want to say what I'm thinking, but yeah.
Okay.
I think I'll leave it at that for now.
Are you ready for your sound clue, my good sir?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, no cheating. No cheating. I'm going to send it to you now. I'm going to bring down our theme, and I'm going to reveal it for the audience at home right now. And now I'm bringing back up our theme song here for Histowii. Sir.
I'm like aggravated because I know I've heard this before. One thing I know it's not, because the sequel thing in the Game Boy, I wanted to go to Kid Icarus, Myths and Monsters, but that's definitely not it. So I'm trying to understand that first hint. Saw the release of a revered franchise sequel. They hope to rewrite. Okay, wait a minute. Okay, I was right the first time in my head. I just caught that reading that out loud. The only thing is, I don't know which number it is. I don't know what you mean by they hope to rewrite history with a Game Boy re-release later that year, but failed.
The original release of this game was not very well loved. Let me put it that way. The reception for it was not very high. And so they hope to rewrite history with a Game Boy re-release later that year and get one that had a much better reception, but failed.
Okay, so this is the NES. It's gotta be. I should know by the aesthetics, but I wasn't completely sure because Game Boy Color wasn't out yet, so it's got to be the NES. Okay, I think I know what I'm gonna guess. This is what I thought from the start, but I started changing my mind. I think it's DuckTales 2.
Are you locking in as your final answer, DuckTales 2?
I'm gonna have to. Yeah, let's just go with it.
Okay, we're going to the grand reveal. And it is indeed DuckTales 2. Congratulations.
Never played too much. It's been so long. Yeah.
So DuckTales 2 released, and
but it's been a long time.
It was so not the first one. And that was the biggest problem with the release of this and how people felt, is that it was not quite as liked as the original one. They said it was too much of the same, and at the same time, not nearly as good of an experience as the first one. What also makes this game very interesting is that it not only got a re-release on the Game Boy, and it's almost one-for-one experience from the NES to the Game Boy, save for the coloring and some of the limitations of the hardware. But what is extremely interesting about this is that it being the same, they didn't like it. Why? DuckTales 1 is an amazing game. What is the problem with the second one? So, I will say you made a really, really good guess there. I was wondering if I was going to get you. I tried to give you enough of a Jeopardy level clue to kind of hint you in there. Rewrite history.
Yeah.
So, but you did extremely well. I do want to congrats.
I do like some DuckTales.
Let me give Virtua Cat in our live chat here a huge congratulations, because he did knock DuckTales 2 off the board here really, really quickly from super far away. But you did amazing. You did amazing. Are you proud of yourself?
Yeah. I wish I would have just went with it a little quicker. I started questioning myself. It is still bull that that Disney Afternoon collection was on everything but a Nintendo system. That makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah.
Because this is on that collection.
I am with you.
Yeah.
All right.
Whatever.
Well, that does bring Josh up to an 11.5 on the board. We'll find that 0.5 question for him, that 1.5 question for him, coming soon. I do want to highlight one other thing before we do end the show tonight, and that is the news about Nintendo Switch Online updates that just came in right before us, and we're going to get a live reaction here from all of us.
I glanced at it. I grew up with the 64, love this Nintendo 64. A lot of games I love on there. I don't remember it whatsoever.
I don't remember ever playing this game either. It looks cool. Is this Hollows?
It does. I'm torn. Because I very much want...
Extreme G.
I very much want Diddy Kong Racing and stuff on here.
Iggy's Wrecking Balls.
Title. I saw that earlier. It's just asking for jokes.
Oh my
but at
gosh.
the same time, I'm like, okay, cool games I haven't played before, but I doubt anybody will play them with me.
So these are the latest Nintendo 64 NSO updates. Both of these.
Remember that box art? Okay, now that looks kind of familiar. I never played it.
Both of these available now, which is crazy to me. Like, I did not expect this by any means, but you guys got some stuff. So that's exciting.
All you got to do is wait 5 or 6 months, and they'll release some random N64 games.
Yeah. They can't make new Diddy Kong Racing because of woke. Oh no. Oh no. Well, listen, guys. I do want to thank you guys so much for watching. Josh, where can they find you on the internet, my good sir?
All the really bad places. No, like Twitter. no, X, whatever it is, at Whopper744 Games. Basically, anywhere Whopper744 is where I'm going to be. So, yeah, that's pretty good. Just look for me there. Anywhere.
Absolutely.
It's late, guys.
You can find me on Threads, Instagram, and TikTok at NerdWirePlays, and also here on twitch.tv/NerdWirePlays just about nightly here lately. We're going to be doing some Lunar Legend tomorrow night over on my channel, and then later on this week doing Marvel Ultimate Alliance with myself, Team Wildwood, I Am Tenderly, and Toasty Zero, members of the community out there, as well as good friends. So looking forward to doing some PS2 Marvel Ultimate Alliance on the internet.
We need to make him do the Sonic Adventure games.
We'll get there.
I'll be around for that one.
We'll get there, I promise. But you can catch all of our episodes in video form over on youtube.com/@the_Nintendo_Rewind. You've also got the option to hit us up on any of your favorite audio platforms, whether it be Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or YouTube Podcasts, because Google Podcasts is going the way of the dinosaur. I do encourage you guys, if you haven't yet, leave us a voicemail over at speakpipe.com/Nintendo Rewind. We desperately want to hear from you guys. You can join our Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/Nintendo Rewind, Threads and Twitter /X with the Nintendo Rewind, Nintendo Rewind X rather. I do want to thank you guys so much for watching. Remember, you can catch our show every single week right here, Tuesday nights, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6:30 p.m. Pacific Time. Remember, I love your faces. And we're going to queue up a raid target here. Everybody go over there, drop in some no, yes, no, 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 yes, you, yes, yes, no's to the person that we're going to be seeing coming up in this raid. Love your faces. We'll catch you guys next week. Bye.
Bye-bye.